2 years ago, the name Arthur Fleck hit Gotham like a hurricane.
The trial of the century.
They believe Arthur Fleck to be some kind of martyr. Well, he's not. There's a monster.
When you're smiling, when you're smiling,
When I first saw Joker, when I saw you,
the whole world smiles with you.
for once in my life, I didn't feel so alone anymore.
And that is a brief clip from the trailer of Joker, Folie à Deux. I'm delighted to say been joined by Joaquin Phoenix, who's eating a bowl of fruit, in case you hear any mastication happening. And Todd Phillips, the director, who is not eating. But Joaquin, you feel free. Don't let me... Should I ask Todd stuff first?
Now you've really asked for it now.
Oh, delicious.
Bit of radio drama.
Blueberry, raspberry.
That's good. Very nice to talk to you. Joaquin's left briefly. At what stage in the last Joker film, at what stage did you realise, maybe during it or after it, that you were going to have unfinished business?
Mm-hmm. You know, I think we realized it during it for sure. Not so much unfinished business, but you know, we've told the story, but I'll quickly say, you know, oftentimes in movies, my experience at least, you're making a movie and you're kind of in the last 2 weeks, almost like school. You're waiting for it to end. I'm literally Xing out the days on a calendar like a prison sentence.
Yeah.
But on the first Joker, I wasn't doing that. We kind of didn't want it to end, and two reasons. Obviously, I think I could speak for Joaquin. We love working together, but it was more than that. I think it was really that we loved Arthur, and we wanted to continue exploring kind of the possibilities with Arthur. Now, when asked about it, because that'll be your next question, at least people doing it, you said it was only going to be one movie. I will say, like, part of that is, it seems rather presumptuous to go around saying we're going to make another one before this one comes out, you know. So it was kind of something we spoke about ourselves, but never really spoke out loud.
Joaquin, is that the same for you? So, like, you knew during the filming of the last film that you wanted to do some more?
Yes. Yeah, and it just was. It's a character that you can just think of like. Well, Todd can think of like endless scenarios to put him in that I would want to try. And so much of it is like, we would just talk about it. Like, what are the possibilities? And I made you the poster that was like where I photoshopped Joker's face onto every like, you know, great classic film. And I signed it and I was like, what are we doing next? But yeah, it was, we didn't know. It was just us saying like, yeah, we want to continue this process that we're having. And yeah, I mean, it was a really special way of working for me. There were resources available. And that was really new and different.
What kind of resources were available?
Well, time, really.
All right.
Right? We had, it was, Todd would think it was a small movie, and I thought it was like a big movie in terms of, you know, the budget. But we had time. And that was really important to us. And we utilized that time. And that was new for me.
Is it true that you had a dream of Joker singing on stage?
Yeah, I had a dream that I had a dream that Joker was telling his story, and he was telling his story to an audience, and he was on stage, and he was making jokes, and he was singing songs, and I had an earpiece in, and Todd had a microphone, and he was on the side of the stage, and he was feeding me lines, and I woke up, and I just was laughing, and there seemed something so funny about it, and I told Todd, and he's like, let's do it.
Meaning, like, as a stage show, you know,
Right.
like
A Broadway musical?
kind of, and then we kind of whittled it down to more like a club thing, like, you know, a really special, like 6-week engagement, 3 nights a week, that if you got to see it, you got to see it, not film it, not anything. And it would be sort of, in my mind, it would be legendary, the people that got in the door, you know what I mean? We obviously didn't do that. COVID came. But we took that germ of that image that I think Joaquin had and kind of went from there.
Right. So how did you... I'm fascinated by the art of recording a movie with singing. We had a long conversation on the show with Tom Hooper about Les Miserables and how he went about recording the actors. What were the options for you, or were there no options? Did you always know how you wanted to record those sequences?
Well, no. I mean, I wanted the actors to have a say in it for sure. And I mean, clearly Lady Gaga is going to be a little more confident about singing live than maybe Joaquin would be in the beginning. So it's always anybody's goal, and I'm sure Tom probably said the same thing, to have the actors sing live and be in the moment. I think the thing that we did differently, and maybe I'm sure somebody's done it, but the thing that we did differently was they weren't singing to a track that so they were, instead we had a pianist on set in a little soundproof area, so the actors were able to lead and decide the tempo. So Joaquin on take 3 could sing it entirely different than he did on take 1, and I think that's the part that
and the pianist takes the lead
from the actor, from
right.
Joaquin, or of course from Gaga. They both did it that way. Now that is a headache in editing because we now have to retrofit the arrangement to fit what they were doing, but it's also the best. So I think it gave him and her the freedom to kind of let the scene and the moment inform how they wanted to perform the song, and not this pre-recorded track